The two biggest mistakes that I see small businesses have when it comes to content creation is that one, they do not have a system, and two, they are not planning their content far out enough in advance. So I'm going to share with you the system that I use to manage content for my clients and for my own business. And hopefully this will help you resolve those two problems by one, giving you an idea of what you're posting a month in advance if you're, ambitious and planning that far in advance, and you have a system to ensure that you have a steady base of content that is going to be published regularly. And then of course, if there's anything that you want to add on top of that, you have the freedom and the flexibility to do so, but and you don't have to worry about having something to post every single day. This system that I use is very easy. I'm going to flip the camera around and show you exactly how I work through this system to plan content for my clients. And if you're in need of a content planning system and you like this method that I use and you want to adopt it as your own, lucky for you, I have a template that you can purchase and it is linked down below. So I will pop back in at the end of the video and kind of wrap things up. And so I'm going to flip the camera around so you can see the process.
Okay, so in my opinion, there is no other content planner template like this on the market. Because I've researched and I've looked and I've tried to find one and I could not find one that did all the things that I wanted it to do. So I just created my own, and now I want to share that resource with you. So I just want to remind you that, as with any other system, the system only works if you use it, right? So I don't want you to just purchase this as another template to have in your template bank, or for it to just sit in your email. Like, if you're going to go all in on this system, I want you to use it, because it is a tool that can completely transform the way that you plan your content and create your social media content, but you have to use it. So I'm going to walk you through it and show you some of the functionality that I love and why I love it. Specifically because it is on Airtable. It's a little different from Google Sheets and has some functionality that I love, especially because as I just brought in a virtual assistant, they can easily take the content that I create or add to if I need them to help me create the content. I can easily plug them into this document just like I would on Google. I can give them edit permissions and they can do what they need to do. And then they also can download the assets and obviously copy the captions and get those scheduled for me. So this is a really good system for you to have shared with your team. Or if you're just a solopreneur, you can manage it, plan it here, and then, use the content here to go ahead and pre-schedule your post as well. So first I want to show you the different views that are available so that you can, depending on how your brain works. Personally, I like to, when I'm creating content, I like to be in this view here, in this grid view, because I can see everything at once and I can make sure that I have a good variation between graphics and photos. I can make sure I'm touching on the different content topics that I want to touch on. You may call these your content pillars. These could be related to your services, your offerings, your content categories that you typically focus on, any affiliates that you share products for, any launches that you have coming up, any specific product categories you want to touch on. You can edit these content topics the way that you want. So in order to do that, you would just come to edit field and you could change these to be your personalized content categories, content pillars, topics, whatever you want to call them. So I like to see that I have a variation there and make sure I'm touching on all the things that I want to touch on. Then there is a space for assets. So you can kind of see, in order what your graphics look like, what your photos. What I love and what I truly believe sets this template and Airtable apart from other planning templates like this is that you have the functionality to upload reels. So I'm going to show you an example. Okay, the one kicker is that you have to upload your videos in MP4. If you upload in a movie file, it's not going to show it, and that's what you see here. You can still download it from here, but I'm gonna walk you through it while I'm here. Hopefully I have an MP4 that I can grab easily from my desktop, but whenever it is an MP4 file, yeah. So I'm just going to use this quick little file from one of my clients who's actually a professional organizer. So let's see. So once the file's uploaded, it'll show in the browser. And so I especially love this if you're a social media manager or you are somebody who's managing content, creating content for someone. I love this for to send to my clients because they can easily see the reel here without having to go to like a separate platform or like open up a Google Drive folder or whatever. You can link the audio here if you wanted to, so to where they can kind of see, what the trending audio sounds like in comparison to the video. Or you can even put the audio on top, however you create your content, but it will be available here, and it plays it right in the browser, which is such a good little feature. So that's there. And then you can, obviously like click graphics, click images, and see them right here in the browser. And then I have a space for hooks, captions, hashtags, keywords, and then notes. Something else that I feel like sets this template apart from other planning templates is that in Google Sheets, you're truly limited to the formatting and the blocks, whereas in Airtable, you can function these longer text cells as like you would in a paragraph. So, you can kind of open this up a little bit bigger. You can make things headings. You can add bullet points if you wanted to. Little check marks. So you have a lot more functionality with the editing aspect of captions, text here that you don't necessarily have when you're in Google Sheets. So I love that about this template. Okay, so this is the grid view. So like I mentioned before, this gives you just a very good overview of like all of your content at once so that you can make sure, you're covering things so that you can make sure that you're hitting on all the things that you need to be hitting on and really, weaving your strategy throughout each of your posts. I also want to show you that built into this template, you can see things from a calendar view and a gallery view. So I'm going to mouse over to those separately and kind of talk about those here. So for this specific template, like I just have samples built in for roughly a week. So you can see on the calendar view here that it will show you what dates you have your content planned for. So you can click in each of these and it'll kind of show you, what post is planned for that date. Now, if you are planning, if you want to have, this is specifically for social media, but I would venture to say that, if you wanted to add additional content types, so let's say you're publishing a YouTube video on a certain day or a newsletter on a certain day, like you have the freedom to add platforms here. So let me go back to the grid view. So like if you wanted it to be, like a YouTube video or a email newsletter, like you could add all of your content here and make this more of a content planner instead of a social media planner. So just know that that option is available too. And then you could see, every piece of content that you have scheduled planned for the month would show up on this screen. So that's just another thing to consider. And then I also like this view as well, just so you can kind of make sure if you are someone, I know I am, that you want to make sure that, the theme of your content is on brand and it all kind of flows nicely together. It looks cohesive and it's all, using your brand colors and so on. Yes, I know there are apps that will like align the photos and make like a mock Instagram grid. And like, that's great, but that's just another tool that you have to use. And I know a lot of those tools are like schedulers and stuff. So if that's you, that's great. But I also think this does what it needs to do to kind of just give you an overview to make sure that the images that you have are on brand. They all kind of flow, it's cohesive, and it looks nice together once they're all put together. So there's that. So the last thing I want to leave you with about this template is that it can greatly increase your efficiency in planning content because you have everything in one space, and when you are ready to post or publish or schedule, it's all here, and you can quickly download the asset that you need, copy and paste the caption, and move over to your scheduler or move over to the app that you're going to post in, as opposed to having to my old process looked something like, having to go to Canva, download the graphics, go to a notes document, copy the notes, and then go over. So it just kind of eliminates a step because everything you need is here. So you can easily like download the asset, grab the caption, go over to your scheduler, and then you're done. Whether you're scheduling in Meta Business Suite or in a third-party scheduler, I personally have used Metricool and Loomly. I'm currently using Loomly. That's just working for what phase of business I'm in right now. And it's just, it completely if you're a time management kind of gal and you want to get things done as quickly as possible and be as efficient as possible with your content planning, I highly, highly recommend having a system. And like I mentioned, there is nothing like this on the market that has this functionality and helps you be this efficient.
So there you have it. That is the method that I use to create and schedule content for my clients and my own business. And I just want to really bring it back to, the benefits of having a system like this when you are planning your content. So first and foremost, it allows you to make sure that your content is consistent and you have this base of content, right? And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you are feeling where you want to add to it, right, and post on the fly, like you have the freedom and the flexibility to do that, but you know that if you don't, or if something comes up where you can't physically post, that you have content scheduled in advance. It also helps you think about your business in a more long term, and you're not last minute trying to come up with content. Like, you're strategically thinking about what you have for the month in advance, and you can plan and organize and be strategic about your topics, your publication dates, and coordinating your content with things that you have going on in your business, whether that's workshops or masterclasses or other kinds of businesses, launches even, right? I also truly believe that it adds time management benefits, and rather than spending 1 hour per day on posts, you knock all your captions out in an hour, right? You create your graphics in an hour, and then you're done for the entire month, as opposed to having to restart every day, get in the zone of creating and finding a picture or creating the content or whatever the case is. It truly eliminates that like last minute rush of creating content and allows for a better time management. I also think that it allows you to think about how you're going to more strategically distribute your content. So, if you're working on a caption and it spurs an idea, like, you can plan in advance to turn it into an email marketing newsletter or a blog post or a YouTube video or a podcast or whatever the case is. And it makes sure that, in advance you have time to plan to make sure you can tailor each piece of content for the platform that it is going to be published on. I also think it gives you more time to connect your content to strategy and to goals instead of starting fresh every day, like I mentioned above. And I just want to give you a quick reminder that if you like this template and you want to grab it for yourself, that it is linked below. It's called the Social Media Planner Template. And I truly hope that it transforms the way that you create content and simplifies things and helps you really be more strategic about your content marketing. Thank you. I'll see you in the next video.